Crest Chapter 2. Mr. Martin arrived at an undisclosed location by air. He was greeted by two Air Force officers, one the driver, who helped him in the rear passenger seat of the Hummer. There was no other activity where they landed, but there was an open hangar to the right of their plane, and once they were moving, the plane slowly rolled into the hangar and the doors closed. There was not much visible light inside the hangar, just enough for the pilot to make his way safely in and park. A small team of people descending upon the plane and began some sort of inspection of the plane's undercarriage to make sure it was ready for the next flight. The Hummer headed off the tarmac on a road adjacent to the runway that took a firm left out past a small traffic control tower and out onto the main road from the landing field. A stop sign had their vehicle halt, then proceeded to the right onto a two-lane road, and they were on their way to their destination. After about a 20-minute ride, they came upon a large two-story cement block building that appeared to be 100 feet by 100 feet square, with only windows on the second floor. 4 enlisted Army men were stationed at the front of the building. 2 were pacing back and forth 20 feet out from the building, and the other 2 were stationed at the front doors. There were no markings or signs to signify what was going on inside the building. The pacers stopped as the vehicle approached and came to attention as the driver exited the vehicle, and they exchanged salutes. The second Air Force officer opened the rear door, and Mr. Martin exited with his briefcase in his right hand. The 2 Army doormen saluted, and Mr. Martin returned their salute. He then waved a badge over the scanner by the door, and the doors opened, and 2 Air Force officers followed him into the building. Once inside, there were 2 Air Force women seated at 2 desks, one left and one right. Mr. Martin showed some credentials to the woman on the right. The officers did the same to the woman on the left. Once everything deemed was in order, they all put their credentials away and headed down a welded hallway about 20 feet. There was another set of double doors with 2 Army men, one on each side of the doors. They had rifles. They snapped to attention and then held the door open for 3 visitors. They entered into a large room with 2 long conference tables, one left and right, that ran the long way up to a giant video screen of the airspace over North America, including Canada and north to the Arctic Circle. To the left was a companion screen of the Pacific Ocean, and the third screen to the right was the Atlantic Ocean. As Mr. Martin approached the front of the room, General Shannon greeted him and asked him to take a seat at the right table, first chair on the left side, as the briefing was about to take place. The room was quietly abuzz with activity, but the private conversations were kept so low as to not disturb the decorum of the room. "Edward," began General Shannon, "the situation has not totally changed from yesterday, but there is an increase in activity in the North Pacific, as you can see to your left. We are keeping a close eye on all air traffic, including satellites, as there has been an uptick in activity and transmissions between military aircraft and hostile satellites possibly, that we just cannot ignore until we know more about them," he stated. "Our translators are working on decoding the messages, but they are using some new encryption scheme that is new to us, and we have our best people working on cracking it as we speak, he continued. It appears to be only some 16-bit encryption, so it should not take us long, General Shannon added. Have you had to scramble any interceptor jets at this point? Asked Mr. Martin in a concerned voice. No, sir, not yet, replied the general. We are holding off, but we have 15 F-15s ready to hit the air if we say the word, he added. We don't want to jump the gun if this is nothing and tip our hand as to how ready we are, he concluded. Our radar facilities in Alaska or Greenland are picking up any extra traffic right now, asked Edward Martin as he was taking some notes. Anything else from NORAD worth mentioning at this point, he asked. No, sir, not, added General Shannon. We are on high alert, but staying grounded for now. But that can change if we give the word, stated the general firmly. The general took a seat at the head of the table and waited until Mr. Martin was finished writing his notes. Edward stopped writing and then looked at the screen on the left wall, then to the center, studying it carefully, and then moved to the screen on the right wall. He then moved back to the center screen and kept looking higher over Canada and paused for quite a while. Have our Canadian friends been of any help in all of this? Asked Mr. Martin. No, sir, said General Shannon. They seem unconcerned at the moment and have not put any branch on even low-level alert, he added. It seems odd to us that there has been more activity over their airspace than ours, he concluded. Have we shared any information we have, then? Asked Mr. Martin. Not as of yet, stated the general. We didn't want to spook them and get them scrambling fighter jets for no reason due to some overreaction on their part, he added. We have been monitoring capabilities. We have better monitoring capabilities than they do anyway, he added. If we need their help, we can get it fast enough, he concluded. Okay, well, let's just keep monitoring the activity and see where this takes us, stated Martin. Good work so far, General. Thank you, sir, said General Shannon as he rose from his chair. I will keep you appraised of any changes in the situation, he added. Your apartment upstairs is all set up for you to get situated, he added. If you require anything to make you comfortable, just let your staff know and we will take care of it. The intercom is all set up for you, as all you have to do is speak, and someone from the comm center here will talk back, he concluded. It is not activated until you speak the 4-digit code, so no one is listening in on you in your residence. General Shannon made clear there would be no eavesdropping. Thank you, General, I appreciate that, said Edward Martin.